So hi, this is the second day of indie hacking journey, and we are going to cover some of the topics from here. So this, I guess, is a very small world by the founder of indie hackers. Do less so you can do it better. So this was written March 3, 2020. Founders, this is just a friendly reminder to do few things. When I started Indie Hackers, I was doing one thing and one thing only: interviews. The scope was tiny. As a result, I could do a really good job because this where 100% of my energy went. I had no other distractions or responsibilities. I had all the time in the world to iterate on the design, the questions, the guests, etc. Other interview websites couldn't compete because their founders were distracted. Nowadays, the scope of indie hackers has expanded massively. It's harder to keep up. If I'm focusing on the podcast, it means I'm neglecting coding, the website posting on the forum, iterating on the interviews, responding to emails, tweeting, etc. I like to think I do a decent job, but it's impossible to do the best job. There will always be the temptation to expand your scope, and I don't mean to imply that you never should. Sometimes it's the best option. I'm glad I decided to start the podcast and the forum. I would do it again, especially knowing I would eventually find some amazing people to help me out. But in the earliest of early days, it's almost always the wrong choice. It's tempting to think you should be on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and doing SEO and everything else. It's tempting to think you need to add features XYZ and A, B, and C. You'll hear from every book and every corner of the web that you're not doing enough things. They're usually wrong. You're probably doing too many things already. The world is already full of billions of videos, books, movies, stores, websites, apps, and product features. That's more than anything anyone has time to consume, and most of it is mediocre. People are not craving more mediocre things. What they want is a small number of really good things. Producing great things require focus. Focus means saying no to good things because they get in the way of doing great things. Do less so you can do it better. Okay. So this is by Courtland Allen. He's an MIT grad. He's an MIT grad, and he has also got funding from uh, YC, and he's the founder of Indie Hackers. Okay. These are his words. So it was very small. It took only 3 minutes. So I guess we are going to cover next story of the day, and this skill you should know as an indie hacker. But I don't think it is available. Yes, it is not available. hmm This is not available. So in place of that, we are going to cover something which is very recent. Uh, okay, in 6 days, with a half-baked idea, I almost talked myself out of. Okay, sure, let's go with this because we need to cover something in place of this. So we are covering this one. Okay. I run an open claw hosting company. A by B T versus Hermes uh, as a coding Hermes one. Okay. So OpenClaw is something which automates, like, it helps in automation. So here it is by Vishnu K. Vishnu K is Vishnu K is a solo builder working on agentic AI tools. Most AI agents tools focus on capabilities. I focus on something simpler, removing setup friction completely. That's why I built Agent 37, a way to go idea. Okay. Running agents in 60 seconds without server deployment or infra setup. Sure. It's okay. I run an OpenFlow hosting company, tested OpenClaw as Hermes over Telegram for a coding side project, Hermes One. I know about OpenClaw, but I don't know about Hermes. When to find manages Hermes hosting, only found VPS with install script, shipped the real thing when I'm at my laptop. I code with Cloud Code. For a side project, I wanted to code away from the laptop on walks, in line for coffee, at dinner when a test fails. Cloud Desktop is laptop only. Okay. So I started trying agent harnesses as a mobile brain. I could poke through Telegram. Here's the awkward part. I run Agent 37 managed hosting for OpenClaw. So OpenClaw was the obvious starting point. Plenty of our customers tell me they use OpenClaw for coding, not just as a general assistant, which reinforced it. Tested OpenClaw over Telegram for a week, then Hermes for a week. Hermes won. Writing that sentence is uncomfortable and literally in the business of selling the other one. Okay, the task that flipped it, find and fix a flaky integration test in a 600-line file across a 2-day conversation done in 3 minutes chunks between meetings. OpenClaw lost the thread between sessions. I kept repasting file paths, and here's how the repo is laid out. Hermes' skills memory held that constant so I could come back at lunch, say, try the other fix, and it knew where to look. Okay, so it's all about memory. Three other things that stood out for the coding loop: channel integration, Telegram or Discord felt much simpler in Hermes than OpenClaw. Okay, setup. Live browser view. I could watch it drive GitHub or Docs mid-thread instead of guessing what it saw. Hmm. Faster turn latency on short back and forth. OpenClaw is still great for assistant workflows for coding through chat. Hermes was meaningfully better in my testing. So I went to host Hermes properly, Googled managed Hermes for hosting, page one hostinger. Okay, these are the prices, these are different cloud platforms. Okay, managed. Uh, at all of these means, we ran the install script once. You still SSH in renew SSL where the Telegram webhook by hand, restart on crash, and pay full VPS cost whether you use it or not. Our infra at Agent 37 already solved the shared container for tenant, GUI for files, GUI desktop views for browser. Adding Hermes was mostly plumbing another runtime in. The price comes out to $3.99 per month, which sounds suspicious, but Hermes instances are idle 90% of the time, similar to OpenGlaw, so container density is high. What's in each instance? Your own Hermes lives in 60-second official upstream no fork. Browser terminal plus file browser for skills and memory. Live browser view. Watch Hermes. Try pages steps in for login. What's this? BOC. Anthropic opinion. Okay. Has anyone else A by B tested agent setup like this, especially for coding workflows? Okay. We appreciate the honest answer. Most founders would admit the competitors' harness handles context better. We have been seeing similar context drift issues with standard agents, which is why at Algorithm Shift we have been leaning into no-code tools to build more rigid orchestration layers. It seems like the only way to keep the brain from losing the thread during those long gaps between meetings. Great share, okay. So we covered a story in place of this. So why are these stories missing? Okay, crazy. A premiere on productized services. Okay. This is by James Fleischmann. Loom. Okay. I've been writing for indie hackers for the better part of a decade. In that time, I've interviewed hundreds of startups founders about their wins, losses, and lessons. I'm also the co-founder of Debrief and Loom Close, customer feedback through Loom. Okay, I'm the creator of the newsletter called Ancient Beat, and I built and sold SaaS Watch. Let's follow him. Mhm. So this is very recent. He wrote it just yesterday, I guess. April 16 and today it's 17. Okay. Okay, hitting a seven-figure ARR, annual recurring revenue by building a community into his product. Okay. Taylor Jacobson had a problem that he wanted to solve for years. Then he came up with a solution, went all in and built a community around it. Now Focusmate is bringing in a seven-figure ARR. So what is Focusmate? Focusmate is focused, productive together. Okay, so Focusmate. Okay, crazy. Focus for a bit or for a while. 25, 50, and 75-minute sessions to finish daily goals, plan, okay, or tackle bigger projects. Let's finish that. Okay, sure. Crazy ideas out of nowhere. And he's making seven figures. Okay. Going all in on an idea. I'm Taylor Jacobson, founder and CEO of Focusmate. I spent most of my 20s trying out different entrepreneurial ideas, and right before Focusmate, I was working as a life coach and running a men's support group. It was late 2015, and one of the guys, Jake, was struggling. He had a major investor deck to write but couldn't bring himself to write it. I'd always fantasized about someone sitting with me while I worked in school. You can get a study buddy, problem solved. In the work world, asking someone to keep you company that way would be weird. I knew I needed it, but I was always too ashamed to ask. But now, because was his problem and not mine, I finally suggested let's get on a video call and keep each other company while we work. It was not about my shame anymore, it was about helping him. Crazy. We got on a call and worked for 2 hours. It was like a magic. At the end, we were like, okay, let's do this again tomorrow. We met almost every day that week. Within 24 hours of that first session, I thought this is a business. What if we had a network and could find someone to work with anytime? I would had enough failed projects by that point to recognize a good idea from a mediocre one. I sat with the idea for 6 months and then a friend said something I'll never forget. The way you talk about this, I think you'll regret it if you don't do it. That was it. I went all in. Now we have a seven-figure ARR, an accessible module. Focusmate is a virtual co-working community that helps people get their best work done. Hmm. Okay. The way it works is simple. You book a session, get matched with an accountability partner, and hop on a video call together. You You each share what you are working on in the first minute, then you mute your mics and work quietly side by side. At the end, a bell goes off and you check in with each other on how it went. It sounds like a simple idea, but for a lot of people, it's the only thing. It's the only thing that ever worked. We launched Focusmate for free because we thought we needed enough people on the platform for the magic to work. That culture of let's just give it away became ingrained in us. When we monetized, we started at $5 a month, and people tell us all the time that Focusmate is worth $200 a month or more to them. Entrepreneurs commonly have some insecurity around charging for what they offer, and we definitely went too low. If I were starting over, I would start at a higher price point. Okay. Now we operate on a subscription model. It's $12 a month or $96 a year. We also offer 3 free sessions per week, allowing anyone to use Focusmate at no cost. Hmm. Accessibility is a cultural value for the team. One of our internal slogans is that we are building the most supportive community on earth. Part of this means ensuring people can participate regardless of what they can pay. So we can also see that this uh, like we can also call someone through Zoom or Google Meet or something like that. And why necessarily this focus made? Just because it is made for only that thing? I mean, I don't know. But this product is also making a seven-figure ARR. This must be something. I don't know. It is just distribution, maybe. We have members in every country in the world, and we have hosted over 13 million sessions. Crazy. 13 million sessions. Okay. Seven of our members have logged over 10,000 hours on the platform, which is over 400 days. One pair of members from India and Spain has had over 5,000 sessions together. Starting simple, the first version of Focusmate was a Facebook group. Okay. There was no stack. You would post, hey, I want to work at this time. Does anyone want to work with me? If someone was in, they would comment with their Skype handle. Okay. I call the group Procrastination Blaster because I couldn't think of a better name. Then I built a WordPress site and used Zapier to glue everything together. Schedule once for booking, Google Sheets as my database, Zapier connected it all to Google Calendar, Gmail, and other services. This was all. This was long before AI and Cloud Code, and I didn't want to learn how to code, so I duct taped it together until I found a technical founder. Mike joined in October 2016, and we shipped the first real version of Focusmate that November. Okay, 2016. The stack has evolved a lot since then. Today, around 20 different tools power Focusmate. Word of mouth. Obviously, if the product is very good, word of mouth is going to play a lot. Like most of our growth has been driven by word of mouth. Early on, I deliberately used guerrilla marketing on Facebook and Reddit, which attracted the first 100 users. After that, it took off on its own. Instead of talking about focus mode on Reddit, other users did it for me. Someone would post about struggling with focus, and a focus mate member would just jump in and say, "Have you tried focus mate?" Okay. Press coverage worked the same way. In the first year, I received a few call mentions from Hello, but nothing serious. Every meaningful piece of coverage since has come from a reporter who was already a Focusmate user or knew someone who had. This works for us because Focusmate is generally hard to explain. You cannot explain in 30 seconds why being on a video call with stranger makes you more productive. It involves behavioral and evolutionary psychology and other concepts that don't fit into a single sentence. So people must experience it to understand it, and once they do, they want to tell someone about it. Okay, building community into the product. Hmm. So we have a community, and then we need to make product out of it. Okay. Hmm. Our biggest advantage is that community is built into the product itself. Focusmate isn't just a tool people use; it's a place people feel like they belong to. Hiring is the best example. When you're hiring from a community, you have people who already know who you are and what you're doing. If you can build community into your business in some form, you should. It's a huge advantage for a brand, for loyalty, for hiring. For when you screw up and need a bit of grace from your users, people give you that grace when they feel like they are part of what you're building. Okay, so building a community is always a good practice to do when you want to build something. Learning to really on history. Also, if you know about Zepto, Zepto is a multi-billion dollar company, but so it all started during the COVID period from a WhatsApp group where the founders used to uh, deliver products door to door, and then they made product out of it, and now they're worth billions. That too in Indian market. People say that Indian to crack Indian market it's very hard, but they made money out of it. Learning to rely on his team, committing to building focus made everything feel fun. Allowing things like global sales tax compliance have occurred, but that's pretty usual for a global small business. The biggest challenge by far was personal. My health took a major downturn in 2020 to the point where I wasn't working. Figuring out how to run a business on 10% of my previous capacity was the hardest thing I have ever done. And it actually became a huge advantage. Before I got sick, I had my fingers in everything and I liked it that way. I didn't realize that while I might be the I might be the best on the team. I do one or two things. I'm definitely not the best at everything. Someone on the team is better than me at almost everything that needs to get done. Founders tend to overestimate their own abilities, and that's useful early because otherwise no one would ever start anything. But at the same point, you have to make the transition to believing in other people. So I stopped trying to be everywhere at once and tell the team exactly what I needed from them. This brought much clarity. Operating at 10% capacity from the business operationally healthier. We documented everything and became more structured, and we still benefit from that stage. Okay, this is the group. Do validation the right way. Entrepreneurs still make the same mistake they always have, confirmation bias. You like your idea, you skip the steps to determine its true value, position it and solve a real world problem. Real problem. Many founders want to survey their beta users. Survey asks things like which of these features do you find valuable and how much would you pay X, Y, or Z. People commonly think users will tell them what's valuable and what they will pay. That's not true. Science proves people don't tell you the truth, not because they don't want it, but because they don't know. Instead of asking, do you want this? Have them discuss their problems using open-ended questions. What have you tried so far? How did it go? How much did you spend on it? You uncover their actual behavior, not what they think they would do and what they're already spending. That's your first real data point. Then, when you present offers, you must get them to pay because the only real problem that people want what you have made is when they give you money, not just when they said they would. I had to screw this up enough times to really get it through my head. What's next? For 2026, it's all about cash flow and profitability because it unlocks opportunities for us. We want to bet on a few growth channels and each needs full-time resources and a budget for serious experiments. Our longer term vision is to make Focusmate a suite of products. No matter your situation, even if you're at the bottom of the well, Focusmate offers an interaction that helps you take one positive next step. I want our members to feel it doesn't matter where I'm starting from today. I can bootstrap my way to building momentum and having a great productive day. You can follow on LinkedIn and X. Let's follow the guy on X. Taylor Jacobson. Hmm. Really hackers newsletter subscribe. Okay. Hmm. He's also written a primer on productized uh, services. I guess it's kind of long, but yes, he has also written this far before, in like 4 years before. So we need to go through this. A comprehensive look at productized services, what they are, how to build them, and a list of examples of productized services that are successful today. Many of us do some freelancing to keep the lights on. It's a good way to support your projects and unburden them from monetary stressors. But exchanging hours of dollars for dollars is tough and does not scale easily. My wife and I have been running an agency of two for a while now, and we are considering expanding it. As a result, I've been looking for into productized services. I've spent much of my career either working for or owning agencies, and I have also frequently been a client, but I haven't messed with productized services yet. My wife has had some success with them, but she also ran into issues with pricing, hiring, and process. So right now we are in the process of taking what worked and researching the rest. Here's what I have found. I hope it's helpful. Productized services, the good and the bad. Productized services are standardized services that are structured and sold like products. Are standardized services that are structured and sold like products. Okay. So for example, a writer might provide a done for you blog post. A designer might offer a logo with a specified number of iterations. A marketer might provide an actionable marketing strategy, and an engineer might provide website monitoring and maintenance. All would be fixed at a fixed price, either one off or recurring. Here's what they step up from normal services. So, what is productized services? Okay. Uh, Faster growth, upfront payment, eliminates time tracking, less fixed payment, which is so common in freelancing. You know exactly what you'll make from each project. In the case of subscription, it brings consistent, predictable revenue. Your business becomes more scalable, such that you can increase sales without increasing time cost as much. Okay, you can achieve passive income. Okay, eliminate. Scope creep simplifies the customer journey, makes niching down easier, processes become streamlined for efficient, effective work, and it allows you to build revenue and learn the space so that you can eventually pivot to a full product that supports or even replaces the productized services. Benefits for your customers. It often ends up being cheaper. Results are consistent, they can trust the quality. Trust the quality. They know exactly what to expect. Faster delivery and no blown timelines. Can't go over budget. Processes are smooth. Okay, these are some of the little flip side. Niche down means a smaller market. It may upset existing customers. It takes time to set it up properly. You may lose some customers who want things beyond the scope. Hiring or managing a team is time consuming and often difficult. Can lack customization. Building productized services. So how would you get started? Here's what I found. Productized services. Okay. First, identify the productized services. Take a good hard look at what you're currently offering clients. So if you don't currently have clients, think about what you have to offer. And if you don't have a clue, start by asking yourself, what do people ask me for assistance and with most, and begin talking to folks in your industry to identify their pain points. Once you have thought of a service, think about the result of those services. What exactly is the customer getting? What is the product that they receive at the end of the day? They still it until it is as simple as possible. Once you have get a productized service in mind, figure out who needs it the most and get hyper specific. It's important to really niche down. Productized services should be intended for and marketed to a very specific subset of people. Once you have the offering and the market searched, structure the product accordingly. What exactly does the customer get? Why don't they get? How quickly do they get it? Do they get multiple iterations? If you have written up an SOW for services in the past, it's pretty similar to that. Optimize your processes like crazy, document them clearly for any subcontractors you bring on board. Everything should be templatized and automated. Most important is the process of completing the work, but you should also optimize sales, marketing, invoicing, and so forth. Structure your pricing. Is it a one-off or a subscription? What price can the market bear? What is the cost for you and what margin do you need? To figure out the cost, put a price on your time or a subcontractor's time. Note the pricing should be continually optimized. Take the structure you have set and clearly define it on your site and content. Make it absolutely clear who this productized service is for and who it isn't for. Okay, start selling. Hopefully, you have got a good audience and network that you can tap on into. Pull the word out, frame it as the result that they receive, not a service. Optimize your processes more, scale, and that's how. Uh, yeah. As for the best practices, here are some few points. Niche down, market it, make it replicable. There should be minimal adjustment made between customers. Use templates and systems to this effect. But above, be clear on the scope of productized service. Scope creep shouldn't exist here. Optimize and scale yourself out of the job. Productized services example. These are the okay. Example might help. Here is an unlikely one that Ryandu mentioned in a conversation on IH. I think it demonstrates a subscription-based product as service well. Using your example, if I'm thinking car repair as a productized service, what might that look like? A subscription fee you pay monthly. The fee is based on type of car and how old it is. It includes free oil changes every 3,000 miles and tire rotation every 5,000 miles plus 25% of new tires for some X dollars per month. You then create relationships with your local car mechanics and tell them you're covering the bill for the maintenance on your customers. You're going to bring them business and you want a 25% discount on their services for generating the leads and business. Your customers are paying X dollars per month in your service area and it's time for their oil change. They request an oil change and you then connect them with a person in your network that does the oil change at a discount to you, charge you, they pay nothing. And here are the few real world examples of productized service businesses founded by fellow indie hackers. Okay, saw demand for hmm, so these are the indie hackers who made productized service businesses. James saw demand for turning podcast into blog posts. She started with started by freelancing on Upwork. Soon she started contacting writers to the work. Now 75% of the work is productized. They convert podcast episodes into blog posts, ebooks, etc. Joe Howard of WP Buff 137K dollars per month. Okay, offers website maintenance and more for a monthly subscription. Really, these are the examples. What indie hackers have to say. Okay, okay. Let's know the view of what indie hackers have to say. Here's some wisdom on the topic that fellow indie hackers say. I think a lot of is down to choosing your services wisely, so the deliverable is quite specific. For example, the past few days I've been thinking to specialize my web development offering into API development because it's easier to validate an API with a customer than a user interface. Okay. Niche down first, then expand your offering later when your customers demand for it. Also great to start off with finding a few customers first, building stuff for them, and at same point getting their feedback. You'll learn a lot about what kind of no code productized service to launch that way. It is difficult to standardize deliverables when the very essence of what you do is custom, and the commitment of your customer is that in their role has a big influence in the service in the success of the project. Most agency gurus recommend value-based pricing over hourly fees, which makes total sense, but I've always felt that difficult to apply to software development, and I have consulted sales gurus. Something you can do is standardize your methodology, processes, and guarantee best possible results in allocated time and cost. Hmm. Group here has nearly 15K members and is okay. Okay, so you can join this group as well to know what product you may sell. Yeah, so there are a lot of members. Okay, so 15,000 members. Okay, so this kind of big group, and yeah, hmm. Facebook group. Growing a productized service from is a free ebook by Winrob about growing his productized agency. $50,000 per month. That's crazy. It's not available. comes highly recommended by. Okay. My article on working from home wrap up seems like no brainer to me, so I think I'll give it a try with new clients. I'd love to get your thoughts. James Fleischmann. Okay. Now we are done with this. Okay, this is also by James Fleischmann. Okay, the fastest product to build. What the hell? 15 plus fastest product to build. This is written in October 2022. I guess this is quite long and we are going to read it tomorrow. This I guess about some Indian guy Ayush Chaturvedi. That's right, Ayush Chaturvedi is launching 25 products in 25 weeks. This guy knows how to tell. Okay, we'll read it tomorrow. This is very long and yes, we'll read it tomorrow. That's it for the day. We almost covered James Fleischmann mostly, and we got to know about productized services and the people who are working on it and making money out of it currently. So yeah, that's it for the day. Thank you. Okay, thank you.